Abbott and Costello, Simon and Garfunkel, Batman and Robin, Beavis and Butthead. None of these duos have anything on Frieza and Frost. That's right, the two intergalactic douchebags of the Dragon Ball universe are the stars of this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super. Guys, this is an episode that I have been salivating for. I have been waiting to see what is going to happen with the alliance between Frieza and Frost, and it does not disappoint. Not only was this episode action-packed, but it had a very nice twist at the very end, and a certain major character gets erased entirely by one of the Zenos. So, let's just talk about some of the highlights of this week's episode, which, like I said, is pretty much just non-stop action. The first half being the battle between Goku and Ribrianne. I'm really enjoying this fight because Ribrianne is just so different than some of the other fighters that we've seen from Dragon Ball. Although, I know a lot of people are not really gelling with her that much and don't really consider that much of a fun character. I love her entire shtick. The fact that she relies on the power of love, and the fact that she fires giant ki blasts which are in the shape of a heart. Something about that to me is really funny. That and that she still manages to go toe-to-toe with Goku, although we have to remember Goku is holding back and he's only using his base form against Ribrianne. Still, it really shows that she can tank a lot of his really powerful moves, and she might even be someone that we have to look out for in the middle of this big tournament. The rest of the episode mostly focuses on Gohan, and while I loved all of the scenes here, there is one element of it that I didn't really care for, but I'll talk about that a little bit more in the rundown. Basically, this entire scene opens up with Gohan, who's running away from this robot by the name of Bola, who has extendable arms, and frankly doesn't really look all that intimidating. He looks like something out of frickin' Pixar's Wall-E, but Gohan escapes until he's actually met by the Yardrat by the name of G-Meze, and we finally get to see a little bit more of this guy in action, and for the most part, he completely overwhelms Gohan with his instant transmission techniques, and Gohan is unable to read any of his attacks. And then suddenly Frieza arrives, and it looks like he's there to sort of help out Gohan and fight against the Yardrat, but no, he just sort of hangs out on the sidelines and allows both of them to continue their fight until he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna keep making up my own rules. And he just fires a big ki blast right at the Yardrat, destroying one of his attacks, and then proceeds to basically murder this guy within an inch of his life and kick him out of the ring. Now, I'm not sure how the real official rules of this tournament work, where if you injure someone enough to the point where they fall out, if they die outside of the ring, does that count? I mean, technically the fighter's attack did end up killing them, so it's kind of hard to say, and I'm not really sure if G-Meze actually died in this episode, if it happened off camera. Maybe it's something that I missed because I was just so enveloped in the action, but I'm curious if he actually made it out of this situation alive. Now, Frieza right here is awesome. He manages to carry so much personality on his super big douchebaggery purple shoulders, but I love how he is just so much like the classic Frieza that I've been wanting to see. A lot of that I don't think was translated too well in the Revenge of F arc, or the Resurrection F arc, and I'm glad to see him return to form in this episode where he's very unpredictable and hard to read and just oh so freaking smug. Frieza's smugness levels in this episode are, well, insert over 9,000 joke. He is just so full of himself in this episode that you just can't help but want to laugh every single time that he's on screen. The amount of joy he takes in being a douchebag is really what makes him a great villain. Frost has been watching from the shadows, and he decides to get involved with the battle, and because he's a stupid villain and basically like a doofier version of Frieza, he decides to reveal their alliance to like every single person in the tournament, which is such a stupid idea, and probably the reason why Frieza does what he's about to do in the episode, where he decides that he's going to be the one who's going to take out Gohan, and basically this is sort of like his test to Frost to let him know that he's going to be a part of his alliance. And both him and Gohan have a pretty epic battle with some slick choreography and a lot of stuff that we love to see from the classic episodes of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. But there's definitely something weird going on here, and you realize that actually Frieza's been pulling his punches, and they're actually having a fake battle, and they make it seem like Gohan has been defeated, and then Frieza and Frost meet up to basically stroke each other's egos, and Frieza reveals to Frost that he can actually attain the Golden Frieza powers, and that he can even achieve his big super buff form, and it's the first time we've actually seen that from Frost, but Frieza actually does this to catch him off guard and then just ends up immediately blasting him out of the ring, which means Frost has lost and the alliance between these two is officially over. Now, I felt that maybe this could have been a part of their plan, like maybe Frieza planned on having Frost lose and actually go to the bench so that he could do some things behind the scenes. But no, Frost gets so pissed off that he starts to fire a freaking death beam right at Frieza, and then the Zenos just instantly freaking destroy him. He's erased. He's no longer in the series. He is dust in the wind. Grains of sand, people. Frost is gone, and I don't think he lived up to his full potential. It's the rundown, and let's talk about this episode. This one was really damned good. I loved all of the action and the choreography. The animation from beginning to end looks pretty solid, as did the artwork. A lot of the expressions from Frieza were particularly perfect in this episode right here. If I only had like one negative about this episode, it's actually all the scenes with Gohan. And this is something that's been sort of brewing inside me for a long time. Gohan is never going to be as awesome as he was during the Cell arc. That's just something that I'm going to have to accept. The incredibly awesome little badass that we saw, who awakened all of his raw power when Android 16's head was smashed by a giant reptilian man, we're never going to see it like that again. Unless the animators right now just decide to do something really crazy with Gohan because he was not defeated in this episode. We might see more from him, and there's 29 minutes left in the Tournament of Power, and if the planet Namek exploding in 5 minutes is any indication, this could go on for a lot longer. So there's still a lot of potential for Gohan, but like, he couldn't beat that one robot that kept saying Bola Bola all over. Like, he couldn't destroy that thing. He was having a hard time against the Yardrat, which, yes, he was using instant transmission, but he couldn't predict, like, any of his abilities. Like, Gohan just cannot concentrate, and there's way too much crazy shit going on here. And it's just more evident that he really has sort of lost his way as a martial artist just a little bit. Now, I could be wrong, and there could be something else going on here, or they really are just sort of biding their time before Gohan gets his special episode where he gets to shine. It's just really disappointing to see a character who is so overwhelmingly commanding and powerful, whether it be the Cell arc or where he fought against Super Buu with his ultimate abilities for the very first time. Just, I don't know. To me, it's just the ultimate fall for grace from Gohan, and I'm not sure what to feel about the character, really, after watching him a little bit in this episode. Although he still does have some pretty cool abilities, and his senses are still good, being able to read the fact that Frieza was actually pulling his punches, and they could team up together. Seeing Gohan and Frieza team up is still just really surreal and strange. And even with Frieza betraying Frost and sort of, in a way, helping out Gohan, I still don't trust him. There's still something not quite right here, and I still speculate that maybe he wants to kill the gods, or the Zenos, or someone, and become a god of destruction himself. Maybe he wants to be the last person in the tournament, the last one standing, so that he can make a wish with the Super Dragon Balls and do something really, really freaking insane. I'm very curious. What I will say is this episode was action-packed. It was freaking awesome. And it had good animation and some really nice twists with the whole Frieza Frost element, so I liked it a lot. But for me personally, all the stuff with Gohan just not living up to his full potential really bugs me as a hardcore Dragon Ball fan. And for me personally, I'm giving the episode a 4 out of 5. If I were to just blindly disregard the Gohan stuff, I'd say this was a freaking fun episode that had no flaws at all. But as it is, personally for me, I'm not digging the fact that Gohan is just not living up to the expectations that I was hoping for him. It could change in the future. It very well could, but at this point, still, a 4 out of 5 is pretty freaking awesome. It's an episode that you have to watch. It's just one that's slightly flawed, but it might be a 5 out of 5 for you. Hell, it might even be a 1 out of 5 for you. I want to know what you guys thought about this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think about the whole twist with Frost being defeated and completely erased? And what do you want to see from more of the battle with Goku and Brienne? And it also looks like in the next episode that the battle with Jiren is just gonna go ahead and begin. So, hype? Yes. Yes, it is up. So there it is. That's my review. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things Dragon Ball Super related. If you like the video, hit the like button. It's easy to do. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay down, baby.